who can define philosophy? Anyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, go on.
Philosophy comes from the Greek words philo and sophia. Philo, which means love, and sophia, which means wisdom. So philosophy is the love of wisdom.
All right. Thank you for that. Delostrico, hold on. Yeah, that is correct, no? That's Philos and Sophia. So basically the combination of that in the Greek alphabet is like this, no? Mo ni siya. Di naman ko ni siya mapadakaan. Maklaro naman dagay class. So this is the alphabet of Greek phi, iota, logo. So phi, L-O, kanin siya omega. So that is philo. Then kanin siya sigma, S, O, phi, P-H-I. Then iota and alpha. So that's philosophia. Kumbaga, philos and then sophia. So philos is love and then sophia is wisdom. So anyone who are lovers of wisdom are called philosophers, no? Mga philosophers ang tawagan nila, and sa Tagalog pa, uh, yung sa Tagalog karunungan, no, kaning wisdom, and may pagmamahal sa karunungan, hindi kaalaman, because kaalaman is knowledge, no, karunungan. So wisdom is much deeper in some sense, because if you can remember, it is grounded with experience, no, kaning wisdom nga sa mga advice pa sa mga katigulangan, we have to follow them because they have more experience than us. So there's already a rooted lesson attached to wisdom, while knowledge is just your idea or what you know about the things, about sa table unsa may imong kahibal unsa man ang imuhang nahibalan sa lamesa. Of course it has legs, and it has the upper part, the flat part. So it's composed of a flat part and then four legs or one leg, it depends. As long as it's used for dining, for work or whatsoever. So that is knowledge. So it's more on your idea, what you know about the thing. Well, wisdom, it has some part of a lesson rooted in it. It has more practicability nga na attach ani. So the definition of mora na atong kanon nga definition. Anyone can give the personal definition to the word philosophy. Nabay makahatag?
Me, sir.
Yes, go on.
So, in my own words, philosophy is the study of basic knowledge that distinguishes right from wrong, and the study of reasoning, sir.
The study of
Reasoning, sir.
reasoning. All right. Thank you for that. What's your last name? Nashir? Nashri?
Nashri, sir.
Nashri. All right. So medyo nag-load ako sa system na, karyat lang. Alright. So your definition now, Delostrico and Nashri, that's correct. So what we're going also to exact here is that philosophy is thinking about thinking. Kumbaga imong gihuna-huna ang imuhang gihuna-huna. You're trying to validate what you are thinking about. Let's say you're thinking about something or naghinala ka about a certain issue. Let's say, for example, your partner, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, so nag-overthink ka about your partner, about a certain thing, yung gidudahan of a third party. So usually, we overthink. Doon na tayo ginatawag nga magsumpay-sumpay tag mga events. Atong dugtong-dugtungon until our mind can create an imagination, a creative imagination, no, nga murag makaingon nga insakto ang imong gihuna-huna. So that is why philosophy is an avenue where you are going to validate what you are thinking, supported with facts, no, supported with facts or evidence. That's only the time where you can say that what you're thinking is true, because you're going to apply it with evidence, no, you're going to use it with evidence. So di alamang ka makaingon nga tinuod or dili. So it is an investigation of the nature, causes, or principles of reality, knowledge, or values based on logical reasoning rather than empirical methods. So mingon tag logical reasoning, it has principles to follow, no, in logic. So do na tay ginabasihan with, let's say for example in a argument construction, if you have undergone the intro to logic, inyo nang mahibal-an dito where you can say that the argument is valid or invalid. So let's say for example investigation of nature. So you're going to observe the function or the dynamics of the nature, the passing of the river, no, from top to the bottom, gikan sa taas nga area, elevated area, to the lower ground. So that is uh, how the water flows, no, dili man pud mo flow ang kuan, ang tubig paitaas. But there are rare scenario cases sa Europe, I guess it was in Scotland, no, nga pa-reverse ang flow sa water tungod sa kakusog sa hangin. No, it was a falls, pero pa-down ang water, gisagang siya sa kusog kay nga hangin, no, current of wind. So that's why instead mo pababa ang tubig, gabalik. But there are still water nga ga down, ga flow down. But that was a gravity defying resistance, no, air resistance. So causes, mga hinungdan, no, sa panghitabo, like say for example the cause of life, unsa may hinungdan sa life, pag sa tao. Of course there is this what we call una is dating relationship, so mauna siya, so there's a creation of a baby and then nahimong tao, or even the nature, no, we study that the principles of reality, it's part of the study of philosophy. That is why um, science before was only under philosophy, no? That's why, because it's love of wisdom. Eh. All of the things that has wisdom is under philosophy before. So grounded with logical reasoning rather than empirical methods. But I would say that it also applies empirical methods. What are empirical methods? These are scientific methods. Kaning empirical, it is equivalent. It has based on experience. Makaibalo ka nga ang imong na-learn is empirical, that is when it is coming from your experience. Na sinati nimo on hand, so that is empirical learning. So, not just logical with the use of mind, but also with the use with the validation of the experience. So, let's proceed with the stages of philosophy. So there are two in the ancient time. So we have pre-Socratic philosophers and Socratic. Who are these pre-Socratic philosophers, man?
Anaximander, sir.
Yes. Who are they?
Sales.
Nganong gitawag man sila nga pre-Socratic?
The first one, sir.
Are philosophers before Socrates.
Who said that before Socrates?
Me, sir.
Alright. So, Miro de Lostrico, thank you. So, they are called pre-Socratic because they existed before Socrates. Nga namang si Socrates may nabasihan sa sa stage o sa history or sa batch sa philosophers. Nga namang si Socrates. Nga nang sikat ng
Father mo siya, sir.
He is the father of the philosophy, sir.
Yes, that is correct. Socrates is the father of ancient philosophy.
He is also the first philosopher like who engaged himself to the question about the self, sir.
Yes, that is correct, Ohastro. He was the first to shift no the discussion coming from the material world into the human condition. So ato na siyang amat-amatan usa ang sakuan sa pre-Socratic philosophers. Alright, niload na gyud ako kuan. Hold on. Alright, so the center of the discussions during the pre-Socratic philosophers, the problem was finding the or stuff. No? Uh, or stuff. This is a German term no for the ultimate stuff. So this ultimate stuff answers the questions of what is the world made of. So who was the first person, the pre-Socratic philosopher who answered this question?
Thales.
Thales.
Who can justify?
Thales.
Kinsa may maka-justify sa answer ni Thales?
I'll try, sir.
Yes, go on.
So, Thales is the earliest pre-Socratic Greek philosophy under the Ionic school. He believed the principle of all things is water, that all comes from water and to water all returns. And the other principle that he believed was that the earth is a flat disk which floats upon the water. Because according to your discussion, sir, in YouTube, 60% of the human body is made up of water, in which he proposed that the dominant um, thing or dominant the dominant part of the earth is water, sir, or water is the source of all.
All right, yes, that is correct, no, Viente. For Thales, the one he observed as the ultimate stuff, no, the ultimate stuff is water, or what we say, the source of the existence of other things is water. Morning iyahang answer ni Thales, his argument that was correct that he believed, no, he believed wala pa ni siya scientific instruments during this time. He believed that the earth rests in water. So nagtungtong no, ilalom sa ang earth nagtungtong sa ilalom sa tubig or nagtungtong sa tubig, dili sa ilalom sa tubig but nagtungtong sa ibabaw sa tubig, and he believed that all things relied on water to survive or to live, like humans, animals and plants are relying on water or the moist in order to survive, no. So that is why he answered water. Who is his student who answered a different thing? Kinsa may estudyante ni Thales na ni answer og lahi nga butang?
Anaximander.
Who wants to justify that?
Bohol, sir.
Bohol, alright, go on.
Ang claim ni Anaximander, sir, he claimed that the universe was formed from the boundless and the substance of the universe.
Yes, what do you understand about the boundless of Anaximander?
No ending, sir.
No ending, what else?
Indefinite matter, sir.
Metaphysical.
Definite matter, sir.
Unlimited, infinite.
Yes, that was correct. No, it is an indefinite, it is infinite, and so it cannot be measured. There's no time limit for this indefinite matter, no. So, ang iyahang argument ani class is that um there are, or the underlying cause of everything was an indefinable stuff, no. Uh, the reason why like the elements that was said by his mentor Thales, water. He said if this element is infinite, like the earth, the fire, and the air, then nothing will survive among the four because they are always in opposition with each other. Nga in opposition man sila. Like ang kalayo ang tubig, di gani mag-abot because the fire will mapalong ang kalayo ug mabasa sa tubig, or else ma-overpower sa kalayo ang tubig, madry ang tubig. And the air as well as the earth. So in some sense ang earth ang air, if mo form siya og into a monster, may mo siyang in somewhat like a tornado or buhawi like that. So maka-damage po siya sa earth. So he said if any of them is infinite, then the rest would have ceased to be by this time. So tungod sa ilang panag-away sige, so may tendency nga mawala na ang uban. So this source of everything, or the ultimate stuff, should be something that is infinite and cannot be seen, cannot be sensed, cannot be touched, and must be invisible and limitless physical substance. So that is capable now of morphing into all the physical things that we see. So mo ni iya nga argument. Although this time wala pa ni siya concept of God, no? For you to know, wala pa ni siya concept of God during this time nga iyang gipasabot ani Dios. No, dili ni siya Ginoo, but duna na siya imagination, no? Nga duna gyoy something nga we cannot see nga govern nato. So that was Anaximander's answer to the question. So iyahang gindefy or iyahang salungat ang iyang mentor nga si Thales, which is said the boundless. So who is the next student of Anaximander who answered different thing?
Anaximenes.
Anaximenes, sir.
Who wants to justify that?
Yera, sir.
All right, go on.
For Anaximenes, he believed that air was the ultimate reality or the ultimate stuff because he believed that the air is surrounding the universe. So without the air, humans or any other living things will not be able to breathe nor survive. So without the living things, there will be nothing. So for him, it is the air which made everything in the universe.
All right, thank you for that, Yera. Yeah, that's correct, no? The answer of Anaximenes is, hold on, is air. So this is actually in response to his mentor, no, Anaximander, because his mentor said that it is something infinite and one. So for Anaximenes, air is also infinite. It is everywhere. It is all around the world or around the cosmos. He answered this because Anaximander did not say that the boundless is something that is determinate or can be determined. So wala man niingon si Anaximander nga ma-determine ang mao nga boundless. So air can be determined, but it is infinite and it is boundless as well. So mo na yung tubag as a response. He said that just as our soul, being air holds us together, so do breath and air surround the whole world. So it is one and infinite. So take note of this process. So he said the air is the source of everything because through rarefication, no, in its thinnest form, air to mahimo siyang fire. Sa kinanipisan nga form sa air, mahimo siyang fire. While in condensation, so mahimo siya from wind to clouds to water to stone. Why stone? Kabantay mo anang kuweba nga sige tulo ang water, mo form ra pud siya eventually of like a marble, some sort of stone. So mo na iyahang basihanan nga mahimo pong solid ang air, no, from nahimo siyang vapor, nahimo siyang clouds, nahimo siyang water. So ni answer siya sa tubag ni Anaximander siyang mentor nga air is boundless and infinite and then it can also be the source of everything through rarefication and condensation. So that was the answer of Anaximenes. All right, let's move on to the other problem. The other problem, class, is about change. Who were the pre-Socratic philosophers who tried to analyze change?
Heraclitus, sir.
Heraclitus.
Heraclitus.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
who said that? Heraclitus.
Memi, sir.
Okay, can you justify why he said kuan? Why Heraclitus answered talk about change?
So, according to Heraclitus, sir, so he viewed that fire as an essential material in uniting all things. So, which is ihang meaning, sir, kay kaning fire mo yung maka-cause of change. For example, kaning sa from air, or which is mahimo siya nato siya state, sir, according to research, sir, ba nga kuan ang air to water, then kanang water to air, which is kanang prove sa science. So there kanang he also proposed that everything is in constant change, and also considered it as a problem, sir, because kuan for example na ay ma-construct. So as time passes, ang iyang change nga ma-result kay murag ma-decay siya, or kanang murag mabungkag, sir, ba. So which is the reason why he considered it as a problem, sir, is because kuan kanang mawala ra pud siya, sir, ba.
All right, yes, that is correct, no? That the reason of the changes going on around is fire. So, mo ni matod ni Heraclitus that the cause of changes is the fire. As you observe, pag kaunon sa kalayo ang butang, mahimo siyang abo or whatsoever. But he said that it was also Heraclitus, no, who argued that according to his observation, that the world is ever changing, and and his solution to this change is, di ba, ningon siya nga the world is ever changing and the only constant is change. It was not Jose Marichan who answered about who is the first to say that the only constant is change, but Heraclitus. So Heraclitus said that through fire, changes happen, no? May tabo ang pagbago. But in order for nature to be reconciled and to be harmonized, so in philosophers, I mean sa mga philosophers, even the Chinese and Indian philosophers and other philosophers are always aimed, no, on trying to harmonize and to unify nature in order pa magkahimo ta og ma-achieve na to ang world of a peaceful world and harmonious world. So it is the logos. Logos is actually the Greek word for him plan or formula. So Heraclitus did not really expound in details, no, what is this formula or what is this plan all about. But for him, it is the unifying thing, no. And it was also Heraclitus who said the famous line, "You cannot step twice into the same rivers." Unsa may gikanan, or what is the reason why Heraclitus said that you cannot step twice into the same river?
Dry, sir.
Biente?
Heraclitus said that you cannot step twice into the same river because the river is constantly flowing, sir. Or since his principle is everything about constant change, thus when you step the river and once it flows, the element of that river contains is not the same as the previous one, sir. So the river is constantly flowing.
Yes, that is correct, no, Biente? So he said that you cannot step twice into the same rivers. Let's say, for example, technically, parehas language siya nga usara kada kasuba, same name. Let's say Bagakay River. You cannot step on that river twice. What he meant is that because the element that flows, no, it's no longer the same nga imong gitapakan the first time you stepped on, and the second time it is different. It's already the same. It's same water, but that is already a different atoms of water nga nagka-compose sa water, no, or elements of the water nga imong gitapakan. So it is always, it scatters and it gathers and it advances and retires. So mo na yang gipasabot. So everything is in constant change. Ang mga butang mutubo, mahimo, and then madaan, and then maguba, malata, and then ma-disintegrate. So iyang solution in order to for this conflict is the logos or the formula, but wala siya idea kung unsa ni siya nga formula. But you can think of this kung ganahan ka mo sulat unsa nga formula ang makapa reconcile ani nga mga conflicts sa nature, kaning pagbaha, paglinog, pagka-violente sa dagat or whatsoever. There's a tsunami, there's a hurricane, and all of that. So control ba nato ang nature that we can formulate a formula to address that kind of natural phenomenon? So let's say if makakuan mo niya na. Alright, who is the other one who opposed? Kinsa man ang philosopher nga ni opposed sa idea ni Heraclitus about change? Alright, I'll give the name, Parmenides. Who can give the justification of Parmenides, who tried to contradict the ideas of Heraclitus? Anyone? Alright, so wala. Okay, so here's the thing. With Parmenides, Parmenides is formulating the idea of the one or the unchanging. Okay. So ang iyahang argument ani class is simple, that that only one unchanging thing exists. Usa lamang kabutang ang nag-exist nining the entire thing that is present today. That is the indivisible spherical shaped thing, like a toy marble, like a marble, that he calls the one. It might appear, makita man nimo nga daghan, let's say for example, daghan kay makitang kahoy, balay, salakyan, daghang mga tawo, daghang mga hayop, plants. It appears to be many or countless different things, but it is only one. No? According to him, this many things that you see is just only an illusion. He did not trust his senses. Wala siya ibsalig siyang senses. And the truth is that only the one exists. So the analysis of this is that simple, no? Like, let's say if you're gonna think about the earth, no? The earth is a spherical, alright, the one. Spherical shaped thing. And then this is only one. And this is like the nature, no? It seems like he is referring to the nature. Still, there's no idea of God during this time class. Wala pa idea of God si si Parmenides. So basically, he was talking about the nature. Nga all the things that you can see are just an illusion. The only thing and true is the one and the unchanging. So tanang mga movements nga imong makita, illusion ra na siya. Although nakakadere nilakaw ka paingon dito sa pikas, that is only an illusion nga ni move ka. Pero wala day ka ni move. That is according to him. So kinsa man ang ni support ani nga philosopher?
Zeno, sir.
Yes, that is correct. Pwede kang expound na.
Okay, sir. So Zeno of Ilias, sir, he defended and defined that Parmenides' thought was just a series of logical. He defined that and proved that the plurality was just an illusion and senses and reality was uniform, sir. There is no actual things such as change. That the only wait, sir. Ako na i-compose akong thoughts. It's like he proved that the change was just an illusion through providing several examples of paradox, sir.
All right. That is correct, no? He explained what his mentor is saying, Parmenides, through paradoxes. Pinagi sa paradox. Ang first niya nga paradox ani class is the si Achilles versus or the tortoise. Silang duwa, no? Garacing ni sila si Achilles and the tortoise. Let me share the the image. Hold on. Alright, makita ninyo ang image?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so this is the paradox of Zeno. Achilles and the tortoise. So he says that when Achilles will reach the position where the tortoise started, the tortoise will have moved farther ahead. Ang iyang point is dili maapsan ni Achilles ang tortoise. Let's say for example, the tortoise is running 1 kilometer per hour while Achilles is running for 10 kilometers per hour. Maapsan ba ni Achilles ang tortoise ani or dili?
Dili, sir.
Dili sir.
Alright, anyone can explain why?
Maabsan, sir.
And Miro, can you justify also that?
Ikaw, sir, mas paspas man iyang velocity. Then, at a certain point, at a certain time kay, na chance nga magdungan na gid sila, sir. But, few time later kay, mas mauna na si Achilles, sir.
Okay, pwede. That is according to science. Who else? Who can kinsa man ang maka-explain the other side of the paradox? Maapsan ka Miro is maapsan, while the other one is dili maapsan. Kinsa may maka-explain the other side of the coin?
I believe, sir, that the tortoise is always 1 kilometer ahead of Achilles.
So steady, always 1 kilometer ahead.
Yes, sir.
The last trick, right? Okay.
Yes.
Kinsa may lain nga explanation. Lain nga explanation. All right, so let me expound the of Achilles and the tortoise. Let's say for example this is Achilles and then there is the tortoise. So duwa ni sila, no? So nauna ang tortoise, so nasa dere mga 1 kilometer. So ahead man og 1 hour na. Let's say for example ahead og 1 hour si ang tortoise og run than Achilles. So for Miro, by measuring the velocity in some certain point of time, maapsan gani siya. Let's say for example after 2 hours or 3 hours, probably maapsan na yung tortoise. For Zeno, dili gani siya maapsan. So let's say for example nauna ang tortoise og 1 hour. So naa na diri ang tortoise. So by the time nga mo-move si Achilles, no, after an hour na siya diri sa position ni sa tortoise. After an hour also, naka-move na ang tortoise. So na siya ahead. So, at some certain point of time, by the time nga naabot na ni Achilles ang position sa tortoise, ni-move naman po ang tortoise. So, wag niya maapsi. So, another, pag abot na ni Achilles sa position sa tortoise, ni-move naman po ang tortoise. So, nagkagamay ang ahead, no, sa tortoise. So by the time nga ma-reach na ni Achilles na pod ang position sa tortoise, ni move na pod ang tortoise. So until such time nga magsige lang sila irog, dili gyud maapsan ni Achilles ang tortoise. Ang iyang explanation of that is this. In a race, the quickest runner can never overtake the slowest, since the pursuer must first reach the point whence the pursued started. So pwede sige niyang abton ang posisyon sa nag-una niya sa iyang gisundan until so that the slower must always hold a lead. So mo niyang explanation, no? This is actually the explanation of Aristotle. So, gets ninyo ang point sa paradox ni Zeno? Technically, in math and in physics, maapsan gyud siya in just some points of time. Pero in the paradox of Zeno, in iyahang analysis is that dili gyud maapsan ang tortoise. Magkagamay ang kuan, ang distansya sa ahead sa tortoise, mo reach gyud siya sa point nga hangtod into the smallest decimal point to infinity nga di gud niya maabsan ang tortoise. Kaya every time nga maabot ni Achilles ang position sa tortoise, mag-move man ahead ang tortoise. So maabot na pud ni Achilles, ma-move na pud ahead ang tortoise. Nagets ninyo ang iyahang paradox, guys?
Yes, sir.
Alright.
So murag
Mhm.
so iyahang philosophy about sir kay murag mo adjust ang stronger to mura siya aron mo equal siya sa weaker one aron sa
Wala siya ingon ana nga kuan nga analogy or interpretation. Ang point lang is that every time nga maapsan maabot na ni Achilles ang position sa tortoise, nag-move naman po dyan. Imposible man nga dili mag-move ang tortoise. So always ahead ang tortoise kay Achilles in a sense nga pag-abot niya mo sa iyang position. Let's say for example, ga-racing mo duha, nauna ang usa. So by the time nga moabot nimo iyang position, ni-move naman po siya ahead. So murag ingon ana ba ang kuan? Kumbaga the motion also is constant, no? Constant ang movement. Dili siya although faster sa Achilles, pero kung imong sabton ang iyang paradox, that's why it's called paradox because he insisted na bisag magkagamay pa man ang ahead sa tortoise, dili gud siya maapsan even up to the smallest decimal point, no? Let's say for example, gikan dere sa first nga point 1 kilometer ni, then nahimong 1.8 kilometer, nahimong 1.5, nahimong 1, nahimong 0.8 kilometer. So for example, nahimong 0.5 kilometer, 0.1, 0.08, 0.09, 0.07 hangtod the 0.00, 0.00 blah blah blah. So murag ingon ana ang logic ni Zeno. Ang ikaduha niya nga paradox, guys, is the paradox of arrow. So let me share ang kuan iyang. All right. So this one. Say if makita na ninyo.
Kita ra, sir.
All right. So that one. So at any point in time, an arrow can only occupy one position and is therefore motionless. So at every point in time, the arrow is motionless. So if the arrow is motionless at every point in time, then it does not move. Movement is an illusion. Makita ninyo ang akong mouse, no? Guys?
Dili, sir.
Dili ninyo.
No, sir.
Alright. How about this? Makita ninyo?
Makita na.
Yes, sir.
Alright.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this time, mo ni, pag throw ni sa tao sa arrow, so every movement sa arrow is that dili siya movement ang term actually. Pag buhi niya sa arrow, ga-occupy siya og space, no? Mura siya pag buhi nag-occupy siya og space. So walay motion ani nga time because it occupied the space. Then kanipod ni occupy po siya og space. Wala motion ani nga time. So you have like you need to like remove the idea of movement in your mind on analyzing this paradox. Kabantay mo nga nay arrow, let's say for example hold on. Ingon ani ning philosophy class ko tawon ang imuhang utok. So this one. Let's say for example this is the arrow, no? So pagbuhi sa arrow, nagod siya line nga mo stop siya. So every line is the position of the arrow. Although ang atong imagination or ang atong vision is gapalayo siya, ga-move siya. But this dot, kani nga mga dot, is iyahaning posisyon nga gitake before siya naka-adto des pikas, i-take siya laing position, or point of location. So, iyahang gi-nullify, gi-invalidate ni Zeno nga walay motion because the arrow is occupying a space. So, iyang explanation is this. If everything when it occupies an equal space is at rest. So in every point, in every position, nag-occupy sig space. So the arrow is at rest, no? So at that instant of time, and if that which is in locomotion is always occupying such a space at any moment. So the flying arrow is therefore motionless that instant of time. At the next instant of time, but if both instant of time are taken at the same instant or continuous instant of time, then it is in motion. So, ang yan lang point ani class is every point nga nag-occupy og space ang arrow while flying, it is motionless. Na-occupy man siya space. 'Di ba? So that's kinda weird ang paradox ni Zeno. But this is the most famous paradox niya, no, kaning Achilles and the tortoise and the flying arrow. So I don't want to force you to understand about this paradox, but at least you have an idea, especially the Achilles and the tortoise. So mona siya. All right, let's move. Who is the philosopher who answered or who raised his idea about numbers?
Pythagoras, sir.
All right.
Pythagoras.
Anyone who can justify?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go on.
Pythagoras believed that the nature of reality ultimately was mathematical. Everything is number and all things are being measured. Also, he has a famous theorem, which is the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared plus c squared of the right triangles. That's all, sir.
All right. Thank you for that, Anisito. Anisito, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, so that is the explanation of Pythagoras. He is the famous proponent of the Pythagorean theorem. So si Pythagoras ang niingon that we are governed, no? We are governed by numbers. So ang numbers mo ay nag-govern na to, in that because everything that is existing, tanan na to nga makita is occupying space. There's a width, there's a length, there is a volume as an area. So it is always measurable. So all are measurable. So that's why Pythagoras is famous of this. It's just that numbers cannot really have an impact to us because numbers is abstract. It is only existing in the mind, no? There is just someone in the history who tried to invent the numbers, no? Invent sa numbers. It is actually mind conditioning. Because if we were not conditioned to have these numbers, this sequence, 1 up to infinity, then this will not, we will not have this kind of measuring idea, no, like numbers. Wala da unta niini kung walay ni-invent aning numbers. So there is this someone who invented, that's why there is what we call mathematics or arithmetic. So mo na siya nga na-condition na sa atong utok ang numbers. Although it is being relate, no, to actual numbers, like kumbaga pag-measure na to sa 2 ka buok apple, 3 ka buok apple, 4 apples, 5, and so on. Or even in anything that you will buy, so siyempre na presyo. So kana siya, it's only being applied, no, to our economic dynamics, like the dynamics of our economy. But still necessary man siya mo na siya nga naana siya. But still it is conditioned to our mind. Kung wala na ma-condition, empty atong mind about ana, maybe we have a different type of concepts nga mo measure, dili numbers. So naana ni siya, so numbers has been conditioned in our mind. And then the other philosopher who is the philosopher who said that the cosmos or the world is made of the four elements.
Empedocles, sir.
Empedocles.
All right, so that's correct. So si Empedocles ang ni raise sayang idea that it's not just only water, it's not just only air or fire, but the four elements that is governed or organized by the two forces. So four elements which is organized by two forces, which is the strife and love. So kining strife, it is equivalent to hate or conflict, while love, it is of course love. During this time, the hate or conflict, it causes destruction or division, while love, it causes creation or unification. So, let's say for example, by the time nga mag-away ang kalayo ang tubig, so syempre nagoy madaot or dunay maguba, or kung kaunon sa kalayo ang balay, so maguba ang balay, there's a change, there's a damage and everything. Well, if magkasinabot ang nature, let's say for example, the growing of the plants, so that is the participation or cooperation of water, humidity, air, and then as well as earth, what and water. So kanang tulo mo'y nagkuhan. So there is a creation and there is a unity in nature. So kabantay mo na. And if the fire is behave, if dili violent yung fire, so wal dili pud sobra-sobra ang iyang kuan, ang iyahang kalayo, so maka-create ang panday or ang smith og new materials nga magamit sa pagsaka o sa any invention. So sa una, ang mga blacksmith yung tagpanday og araro, tigpanday og bisag kon sa sundang, pala, or whatsoever that is being still applied today. So enough amount of fire can create things as well. So that is love. By the time it's sobra na, there's a hate or conflict. So there's a destruction or division or disintegration. So that's how Empedocles used his idea of the four elements. And while who is the other one who said that the world is comprised of infinitely divisible portions of ingredients?
Anaxagoras.
Yes, that is Anaxagoras. What did Anaxagoras said?
He believed that the world is comprised of indefinitely divisible elements or seeds that is organized by mind or nous, N-O-U-S, sir.
All right, thank you for that, Aviante. Yes, so he said that the world is combined with the world is combined or comprised of infinitely divisible portions of ingredients or the seeds he called that are set in motion by a cosmic mind. So kaning mga small divisible parts nga iyang gipanganlan as seeds or noos ang iyang gipasap. Yung gikuan or seeds. This if magtapok ning gagmay kay nga particles or portions, mahimo ni siyang dako. So like if you are a mechanical engineer, you're an inventor, you are an architect, you are whatever field that you have nga makahimo ka og usa ka butang, maka-invent ka, you're actually trying to build a thing, an invention, a new thing coming from small parts. So imong gi-form small parts, then mahimo ang usa ka makina, mahimo ang motor, mahimo ang sakyanan. So muna yung gipasabot that the world is just like that. It is comprised with small portions nga nahimong dako. So we cannot underestimate any small things, portions or elements or seeds, because this is the one, or these are the things comprising the bigger things. All right, so that is the kuan class. That is the pre-Socratic philosophers that we have to undergone for now. Kani sila. So from Thales down to Anaximander, then Anaximenes, Heraclitus, Parmenides, Zeno, Obeleia, Pythagoras, Empedocles, and Anaxagoras. So these are the most notable and famous pre-Socratic philosophers who tried to address the questions or the problem in their time. So mo ni during their time mo ni sila ang nagkuan ni try og answer sa question of the ultimate stuff or the most powerful element in of the world. But later on, pag-abot ni Socrates, nawala na ni sila. So what is the question? Who can share about the question of Socrates?
He would often ask about cancer, one's existence, and what does it mean when we see the world.
Okay. Thank you for that, Ohastro. Anyone?
What is an ideal life?
What is an ideal life? So that's correct, Viente. Who else who wants to share? Wala na mo share kabahin sa kuan ni ni Socrates. All right, so Socrates is the father of the ancient philosophy. Ancient na ni siya. Actually, walay writing si Socrates actually. No, wala ni siya writing na nasulat. Actually, the one that we read in history books or philosophy books and even in the internet, it is actually already the remains of the writing of Plato. So Plato is his student. So he was the one who shifted the discussion. Actually, the uh, the pre-Socratic philosophers are so fond of answering what is the ultimate stuff, what is the world made of, and those things about change and about those paradoxes of Zeno. But later on, when Socrates came, he was actually intrigued at first, no? Ganahan kay siya nga mo apil-apil ato, but later on when it comes to practicability and he shifted the discussion to critical reasoning. So ang iyang critical reasoning, he already talks about what is relevant to people or to human beings or the condition of human beings. So that's why he started with the question, what is an ideal life? All right, for you guys, what is an ideal life?
An ideal life is a life worth living, sir.
What is that? Can you expound what is that worth a life worth living?
In my opinion, sir, I believe that the ideal life is something that kanang na kay gusto ma-achieve, sir, din in the future ma-achieve na nimo your passions.
Okay. So by the time that you reach your dreams and your aspirations, you can already say that it's a life worth living. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you for that, Delastrico. So actually, yes, that has a point, no? Life worth living, especially if you have aspirations and dreams. But human beings, the condition of human beings is kind of different. If you will try to imagine, knowing that at first we have this kind of dreams and aspirations, but later on it changes as time goes on, no? If you will try to evaluate, nga karon mao na imong pangandoy, but by the time you reach already your dreams like successful life, you finish studies, and then by that time you already have a job, you have already a work, but still you will not be satisfied by that. You will continue to aspire for something more. So, um the continuation of kuan of the ideal life is actually discussed on the Nicomachean ethics of Aristotle. But I will not cover Aristotle for now. It will be for our next meeting na, because that is the first perspective of ethics already. So for Socrates, the key to happiness is to turn attention away from the body and towards the soul. No? So mo na yung ipasabot niya, you have to turn away from the body and then focus yourself to the needs of the soul. Unsa man yung point ana?
The greatest power of life, sir, is reflection.
O visitation, was that you? Ikaw to visitation, i-answer the greatest power.
Yes, sir.
All right, can you expound what you're saying that about the greatest power?
I think, sir, the greatest power of life or a person, sir, is that he knows how to reflect within himself, sir. Ba?
All right.
So, when you know how to reflect of what you are doing, sir, you're not only listening to your body, but you're listening to your soul, sir. For example, if we do exercise, we're doing it to our body. But if we reflect that doing exercise can ease anxiety and can improve our health, that means we're reflecting that to our soul. So that attention is taken away from the body, and the attention is put towards the soul, sir.
All right, thank you for that visitation. So yes, there's a big point on that. Yes, that quote is coming from Socrates, that the greatest power is reflection. Um, Socrates is fond of meditating as well, no? Trying to reflect on things. It is very moral. That's why his ideas is very about, it's more on morality, no? Trying to reflect of a moral life, an ideal life. So that is why medyo nasunod ni siya ni Aristotle later on. So he said that by harmonizing our desires, no? Doon na tayo mga desires. We want pleasure, we want happiness, we want more money, we want a happy life. Sometimes our measurement of a happy life is a life with abundance, a life with many things, makuha nato itong mga luho and whatsoever. But it said by harmonizing our desires, we can learn to pacify the mind and achieve a divine-like state of tranquility. So it is very different from what we're thinking about happiness. Nga maabot nato atong dreams, mapalit nato atong mga ganahan. It's not yet, no? It's not yet a life worth living, because Socrates is more inclined to the soul. Like you are trying to stabilize not just your desire, and not just your your emotions, but also your desires. Kaya sometimes we are tend to ano no, dali ta masuko, dali ta maluoy, dali ta maguol, like that. And then we have so much desires as well. So if we will harmonize this, we can balance these things within ourselves, then we cannot be easily disturbed by any disturbance, no, or by any accidents or unfortunate events, no, or miseries. Dali maguol, because we have this already stability, no. Medyo dali ra kay ning gisulti ni Kuan, dali ra kay ning gisulti ni Socrates, but it's very hard, no, to do. So he said that a moral life is to be preferred to an immoral one. So primarily because it leads to a happier life. So a moral life is to be preferred to an immoral one, primarily because it leads to a happier life. So we see right here na that the focus of Socrates at the very beginning of his discussion is happiness, but in a happiness which is linked to the concepts of virtue, justice, and the ultimate meaning of human existence. So mo ni siya ang focus ni Kwan, focus ni Socrates, not Aristotle. So, if you're an immoral one, you have to follow a moral life in order for you to be a happier one. So, um, ang iyahang kuan sa moto siya ang iyahang continuous, no, let's say for example, let's continue with the kuan with the Socratic method, no, a case study of a happy person. So this is also trying to, which includes, no, ang Socratic method is also trying to remove the ignorance, no, within ourselves, remove the ignorance and clear the way for knowledge. So this is also the focus of Socrates. That's why he is also famed for the quotes, no, about educating the young or the youth. So dili si Rizal ang original but Socrates. He admits that he is ignorant. Ang point ni Socrates that he said that I am ignorant, yet ang panglantaw sa ubang tao niya is he is the wisest among all. So mo ni siya ang irony sa kuan ni Socrates that he claimed to be ignorant. Unsa may message ni Socrates na any class that he claimed to be ignorant yet seen by all as the wisest. Anyone?
Sir, pardon.
Socrates in his time of presenting himself to the public, he claimed himself that he is ignorant. I am ignorant. Pero sa sige niyang yaw-yaw nga ignorante daw siya, iyang giangkon siyang self nga ignorante siya. But what people are seeing for him, kung ang ubang tao mo'y paistoryahon kung unsa siya mo'y kinabrightan sa tanan. So nganong iya man gi-present ang iyang self nga ignorante siya?
Try, sir.
Okay, go on.
For me, sir, Socrates presents himself as ignorant because ignorant doesn't. When you're ignorant, you are continually asking or searching for questions and answers, sir. And that is what Socrates describes himself, sir. He is constantly asking for questions and searching for answers.
All right, so that is correct, Viente, no? Because although he is already knowledgeable, he still aspire for more, to learn more. But the other point of this class, kay ang point of discussion or the style of discussion of Socrates, actually mura ni sa Tiangge ang ilang school, no, na sa tunga-tunga sa Tiangge, nga dinhi siya kumbaga preaching style nga maminaw ang iyang mga followers. Then doon na po'y mag-agi-agi nga lain-laing klase nga mga tao diya sa Tiangge nga manuroy, mamalit or makigdiscuss sa uban like politicians, mga wealthy people, mga notable people in the society. So syempre makadungog katong mga nagpakaroon ingnon nga mga bright kunuhay sila. But kung ang ubang tao makalantaw nila, dili day sila bright. Kumbaga it is a reverse psychology thing nga he is presenting himself to be ignorant, but people sees him as the wisest. While those politicians and hypocritic people sa society pretending to be the wise, but in reality, they are ignorant. So, murag kumbaga, bright na gani ni Socrates, nga nung maingon pa siya ignorant, unsa na lang kahato sila, murag ingon ana. So, like an empty cup, Socrates is open to receive the waters of knowledge wherever he may find them, which is related or connected to what you said, Viantea. Through his cross-examinations, he finds only people who claim to be wise but really know nothing. So siya nga open siya sa sa learning, while there are others nga iyang i-cross-examine or iyang i-cross-examine nga nagpakaroon ingnon ko ng mga bright siyang testingan. But by the time that he heard their answers, it clearly that they know nothing. So that is why the explanation is that most of our cups are too filled with pride, conceit, and beliefs we cling to in order to give us a sense of identity and security. So Socrates represents the challenge to all our preconceived opinions. So atong i-test ning atong nadawat na daan nga mga prinsipyo ug opinions, most of of which are based on hearsay and faulty logic, no? Okay, let's say for example in the issues of our today. So karon today is the anniversary na sa declaration of martial law. So the society is divided class. There are loyalists and pro Marcos, and there are those who are not. The foundation, the foundation of or the logic of those who are against Marcos are based on evidence and facts of the victims of martial law. You know, by the time you declare martial law, you are giving the power to the military. So whatever the military does, it will be followed because they are the power. Sila ang gagunit sa power. It's no longer on the people, it's already in the military. So by the time you declare martial law, everything will abide to the military, or else you will be tortured, you will be put under their hands. There are many who were raped, many were tortured. If imura gud paminawon ng ilahang mga kuan, mga testimonies, while those who are following or loyal to the Marcoses are holding to the evidences that they believe that Marcos is the best president because our economy is at the best during his time, but that is false. No, by the time that Marcos was ousted, Philippines is already having the highest debt, no, in history until his time. Kinadakan na tag-utang sa Asia, and we have sanctions in the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. And daghan kay siya og mga infrastructures project, but the poverty rate and the malnutrition rate and the unemployment rate in the country, as well as the inflation, is very high. So how can you say that our economy is at best during that time? And many and thousands, no, there are, I guess, more than I can't say already the exact number. So I'm relating it to this, no, the preconceived opinions, most of which are based on hearsay and faulty logic. We have to check those preconceived opinions or knowledge that we hold to be true. So needless to say, many people resented Socrates when he pointed this out to them in the public square. So nahimong propeta si Socrates during his time. Mao ni siyang rason that Socrates was sentenced to death because of his wise ideas and revolutionary ideas that hit the ego of the powerful people in his society. Imagine, imong igon. So the price Socrates paid for his honest search for truth was death. He was convicted of corrupting the youth. Iha ko nung gidaot ang mga mind sa mga batanon, corrupting the youth, and sentenced to die by way of poisoning. No? But here we see the life of Socrates testifies to the truth of his teachings. Actually, gi-offeran ni siya, no, when he was still in prison. Gi-offeran ni siya sa iyang mga loyal nga mga disciples nga patakason, even rich disciples, no, nga mo bribe unta sa mga judges aron malikayan niya ang maong accusations that he was corrupting the youth. He was accused of corrupting the youth because he was telling the youth how to be truthful and to be honest and to be a worthy public servant in the future. Iyang gitudluan niya mahimong responsible voters in the society or people in the society. Tudluan og moral and trying to cast away, no, this pride, conceit, and this wrong preconceived opinions, especially nga gidawat na sa society. Iyahaning gipanghold. And then he also denied this pagsimba sa sa gobyerno, no, like gitreat ang gobyerno as God. We have to follow and to be blindly obedient to whatever the government said. Yan ang gipang-atake tanan during this time, and even the deities of the society. He was actually telling the society to worship the unknown God. Ang iyang gipasabot nga unknown God, he was already giving a hint to the true God because Greek has many deities. But Socrates was giving a hint that there is this something, a God that we do not know, no? nindot kay ni si Socrates, murag propeta ni siya during his time. So gi-offeran siya nga bayaran ng judges, but he said, how can I be true to my teachings if I myself will bribe the judges? So I am against, or I am only testifying to the public that I am also not true to my teachings. So let the judges release the verdict, then if I will die, then so be it. So that was, it was really worth dying for, no, because gipakamatyan niya iyang teachings. But there are also opinions, class, that if tinuod ba kaha ang identity ni Socrates, dili lang ba kaha ni gama-gama ni Plato. So we will continue that later on if gama-gama ra ba siya sa mga writings ni Plato or tinuod, but he is the father of the ancient philosophy.